Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my May monthly reading wrap up, and I may include a little bit of like my June TBR. I don't have any physical books. Actually, I do have one physical book. I have a list of books that I want to read in June. So this month was not that good. I only read 4 books. I attempted to read 5, but one was a D and F. I did not have any 5-star books. I have one that I'll talk about it, but it was a potential 5-star. But yeah, let's just get into it. So the first book that I read in May was, I was finishing the Summer We Turned Pretty series. I read the first 2 books in April. So the very first book that I read was We'll Always Have Summer. I gave this book originally 5 stars. I gave the whole series 5 stars, but the more that I sit and think about it, I think I would just give the first book 5 stars and then the second 2 maybe like 4. This definitely was my least favorite out of the series, even though I still loved it. I loved the whole series. It was really good. But this one they're not at the beach house as much. I don't know. They're at like college, and there's more like drama in this one. And I just really enjoyed how like carefree and like lighthearted the first book was, but this one's not as much like that. So I'd probably end up giving this one a 4-star. This next book is the one that is a potential 5-star, but I just don't have that feeling. So I'm only giving it 4, but it really could be like a 4.5. And that is The Overnight Guest. I got this book from Half Price Books, and I was just immediately drawn to it because it gave me The Shining vibes. Really, the first sentence on the back got me. It says, true crime writer Riley Lark doesn't mind being snowed in at the isolated farmhouse where she's retreated to write her new book. Does that not give off The Shining vibes? Like, this book switches back and forth between 3 different perspectives, which I have said this a million times. I'm not sure still how I feel about that. And this book, usually books switch between like 2 point of views, but this one was 3. And it was a little weird at first. I did not like the first like quarter of this book, maybe half, but I just kept pushing through it because I liked the storyline. Like I just love books with twists and turns, and I saw on Goodreads that this book had a really, really good twist at the end. So I was like, I've got to get to that point. Y'all, this book ended up being like one of my favorite thriller books. It's not even thriller, it's just mystery kind of. But the twist at the end of this book is insane. Basically, this girl Wiley, she is staying at this farmhouse, and a snowstorm happens that's coming down for like days, I'm pretty sure. And she finds this small child outside in front of the farm in the snow, and the child is like frozen, and that already is kind of creepy. So she brings this child in, and she starts to uncover the mystery behind why the child was outside. And yeah, the plot twist at the end was just really made this book a 4.5 star for me. The next book I did a reading vlog on, and it was Daisy Jones and the Six. So many people have told me to read this book, so I finally caved and got it. I originally rated this book 4 stars, and honestly, the more that I'm thinking about it, I would give it like maybe 3.5. It was good enough to where I read the whole thing really fast. I think I read it in 2 or 3 days, but I don't think that I've thought about this book since I read it. Compared to this book, I think about this plot twist a lot. I was actually telling someone about this book the other day when we went out to lunch, and I told them they had to read this. This is not a book that I think I would do this for. And it's really sad because I know that a lot of people really love this book and give it 5 stars, but it just wasn't for me. So I think I'd give this a 3.5 star. Okay, this next book is the book that I DNF'd, and I talked about this in one of my last kind of like vlog videos, and it's Without a Hitch by Mary Hollis Hiddleston. This book was just about this girl who is a wedding planner, and she's going to all these weddings and trying to figure stuff out, but none of the weddings have been going to plan, and it's just her like overcoming the obstacles. I don't really like this. I didn't like the storyline from the beginning. It was a little odd to me. I was actually kind of dreading reading this book, and I hate saying stuff about books like this, but Weird thing too, this book also took place like where I live, literally like 10 minutes from where I live, which out of anywhere in the world, this book just happened to take place where I live. So freaking weird, but I would not recommend this book. I think I made it 50 pages in and I just couldn't do it anymore. It was so, I didn't like the writing. The author's writing was just so, I found myself having to reread sentences multiple times. Like it was just, I don't know. I personally would not recommend this. And the last book that I read in May was Better Than the Movies. This book, I really, really liked this book. I rated this 4 stars and I will stand by that. It was almost 5 stars. I did read through this super, super quickly. I think this took me 2 days as well. I definitely want to read more books by Lynn Painter. It was so good. I like her style of writing. I think she has a book called like The Do-Over, and I forget, I feel like she has one more popular book. But I loved Wes in this. He was super like charming and cute, and I don't know, I just really liked Liz and Wes's relationship. I think this book is classified as like an enemies to lovers, but I wouldn't call it that because in the beginning, Wes and Liz aren't really like enemies. They joke around and mess with each other kind of in like a teasing way, but I don't even think they're enemies. So, but if you do like that kind of trope, it does start with like a girl and a guy and they're not really friends, and then they do become friends, and then, you know, relationship after that. But this book was pretty thick. I did not expect this book to be almost 400 pages. Okay, well, it was 349 pages, but I would really, really, really recommend this book. That is all that I read for May. I do need to get more on top of my game for June because 4 books is pretty bad. That's 1 book a week. And I don't understand how that even happened because I swear in my head I'm reading all of my books in like 2 or 3 days. So how does that correlate? I don't know, but June's gonna be a better month. I'm gonna do a quick TBR for June. So I'm reading a summer book right now. I'm actually in the middle of filming a video called like reading summer books for a week. So I'm reading a book right now. The next book that I want to read this month is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I've heard good things about this book, so I'm really excited to read this. I also really love the cover. Like it's so pretty. The next book that I want to read, I don't have physically, but I really want to read The Silent Patient. Part of me wants to wait until October to read it. I don't know why, because I will read thrillers year round, but it's such a hyped up book that I almost want to wait until it's like cold outside to read it, but I'm not going to. I've already heard so many good things online about The Silent Patient, but then my friend the other day at lunch, we were exchanging books that we should read to each other, and she told me to read The Silent Patient, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to read this book. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and give that a shot this summer, or in June. I also want to read A Bright Side by Kim Holden. I saw that in a TikTok the other day and I really want to read that. And then I also want to read If He Had Been With Me. I have not read that book yet, and I hear that the plot twist in that is crazy and it will make you cry so hard. So those are 4 books that I'm hoping to read. 4 is a very realistic goal. I read 4 books at least every month. So hopefully I will get through those and we can compare it to my June monthly reading wrap up and we'll see if I actually read them. But yeah, that is everything in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and I will see you guys later.